Most people admire Sigma males from a distance until they actually meet one. That's when the admiration turns into discomfort. Because Sigma males aren't built like everyone else. They don't crave validation, they don't follow social scripts, and they don't play the approval game. Their independence, silence, and self-control expose truths that most people can't handle. Especially in a world addicted to attention, Sigma males move differently. They're not loud, but their presence changes the energy in the room. They're not emotional, but they see right through your intentions. They value peace over popularity and truth over comfort. And when people can't control or predict them, they label them cold, arrogant, or too intense. But the truth is, they just operate on a level that most people aren't ready for. This video will uncover 7 harsh truths about Sigma males, the kind that make them both respected and misunderstood. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to UltraWise, like this video, and comment below, "I move differently." Because once you understand these truths, you'll see why Sigma males never fit in, and why that's exactly why they win. Their silence is power, not weakness. The Sigma male's silence is often misunderstood. To most people, silence feels uncomfortable, something to fill with small talk, noise, or explanation. But for the Sigma, silence isn't emptiness, it's strength. He uses it like a weapon, not to intimidate, but to stay in control. While others reveal their intentions through constant talking, he observes, he watches, listens, and learns. Every word he doesn't say gives him an advantage, because silence always exposes what noise tries to hide. He knows that, in every interaction, the one who speaks less usually holds more power. When everyone's rushing to be heard, he's processing, reading energy, noticing contradictions, and identifying weakness. This ability to stay calm and quiet in a world addicted to reaction makes him unpredictable. People can't tell what he's thinking, what he's planning, or how he'll respond, and that mystery gives him leverage. His silence isn't about fear, it's about control. Most people mistake silence for passivity. They assume if you're quiet, you're unsure or submissive. But the Sigma knows better. He's not silent because he lacks words. He's silent because not everyone deserves to hear them. His restraint creates tension, and that tension makes people reveal more than they intend. It's psychological. His quietness forces others to fill the void, and in doing so, they often expose their motives, insecurities, and truths they never meant to share. This is why the Sigma's silence intimidates people. It reflects confidence that doesn't need validation. It shows emotional mastery, the kind that can't be faked. While others waste energy trying to prove their dominance through volume, he wins by remaining unbothered. He doesn't need to react, argue, or explain. He knows that silence is louder than any confrontation. And the most unsettling part? His silence lingers. People remember it. They replay it in their minds, wondering what he was thinking, what he noticed, or what he plans to do next. That's the power of restraint. It keeps others guessing while he stays 10 steps ahead. So when the Sigma male goes quiet, it's not weakness, it's strategy. Because in a world obsessed with being heard, the man who can stay silent owns the conversation. They don't need anyone, and that scares people. Most people build their identity around belonging, being part of a group, a circle, a relationship. They rely on external connection to feel valuable. But the Sigma male operates differently. He doesn't need anyone to feel complete. He enjoys people, respects connection, but he isn't dependent on it. His sense of worth comes from self-sufficiency, not approval. And that kind of independence, the kind that can't be influenced, guilt-tripped, or emotionally controlled, deeply unsettles people who don't have it. When someone realizes they have no hold over a Sigma, they often misinterpret it as coldness or arrogance. It's not, it's strength. He's built a life where his peace isn't tied to who stays or leaves. He doesn't cling, chase, or beg for attention. He knows that real confidence is quiet. It comes from being able to walk alone and still move forward with purpose. That's what makes people nervous. You can't manipulate someone who doesn't need your validation. The Sigma's independence comes from experience. He's been disappointed, betrayed, and underestimated enough times to learn that relying too heavily on others leads to dependency, and dependency leads to weakness. So he took a different route. He built everything from within: emotional control, financial stability, discipline, and self-awareness became his foundation. He learned to be his own support system. This mindset doesn't mean he's antisocial or incapable of connection. Far from it. He values genuine bonds, but he refuses to attach out of fear or loneliness. He's not afraid to walk away when peace costs less than company. That's why people who depend on control find him frustrating. They can't manipulate him with silence, rejection, or approval, because he's already free from all three. And that freedom? It's what truly sets him apart. He doesn't seek rescue or validation, because he's already his own anchor. He's built a world where solitude isn't a punishment, it's a power source. While others crumble when they lose support, the Sigma grows sharper, stronger, and more focused. That's what scares people the most about him. They realize that he's untouchable, not because he's heartless, but because his strength doesn't come from others. It comes from within. They see through pretenders instantly. You can't fake authenticity around a Sigma male. He'll see right through it. While most people get distracted by charm, confidence, or appearances, the Sigma pays attention to what others overlook: tone, timing, consistency, and energy. He doesn't just listen to words. He reads intent. He notices the micro-expressions, the forced laughter, the shift in eye contact when someone lies. And once he senses that something doesn't add up, he doesn't confront. He simply disengages. He doesn't expose the pretender, he just stops feeding them attention. This ability isn't luck, it's experience. The Sigma male has seen manipulation in all its forms. He's dealt with people who used flattery to hide envy, kindness to mask control, and confidence to cover insecurity. Those experiences sharpened his intuition. Now, he doesn't take people at face value. He gives them space to reveal who they truly are. And they always do. Because fake behavior can't survive in silence for long. The Sigma's calm, observant energy disarms pretenders. They're used to impressing people easily. But he doesn't react the way they expect. He doesn't compliment superficial traits, doesn't fall for exaggerated stories, and doesn't chase approval. That indifference makes manipulators nervous. They start over-explaining, overselling, or showing cracks in their mask. And that's when he confirms what he already knew. What unsettles people the most is that the Sigma doesn't need proof. His instincts are fast and precise. He can sense when someone's trying too hard, when motives don't match words, or when admiration feels transactional. He won't argue or accuse. He just quietly adjusts his distance. And once he's seen through someone, there's no going back. You can't regain trust from a man who values honesty above comfort. This ability to detect pretenders keeps the Sigma's circle small but solid. He doesn't collect acquaintances. He chooses alignment. He'd rather have silence than shallow company, truth than performance. And because he filters people so well, he rarely gets blindsided. That's what makes the Sigma male dangerous in the best way. He can see what others try to hide. He moves through the world knowing who's real, who's fake, and who's playing a part. And while others waste time guessing motives, he's already moved on, quietly, confidently, and far ahead. They're emotionally detached, but deeply aware. The Sigma male is often labeled as cold, distant, or unfeeling, but that couldn't be further from the truth. He feels everything, often more deeply than he lets on. The difference is, he's learned to separate feeling from reacting. His detachment isn't a lack of emotion, it's control over it. He's not numb, he's disciplined. He understands his emotions instead of being ruled by them, and that balance gives him power in situations where others lose control. From a young age, the Sigma likely experienced how emotional chaos can lead to regret, saying too much, trusting too fast, reacting too soon. So, he adapted. He taught himself to process emotions internally before responding externally. When anger hits, he doesn't lash out, he observes it. When disappointment comes, he doesn't collapse. He analyzes what went wrong. That's what makes him appear detached. In reality, he's practicing mastery. People who rely on emotional manipulation hate this about him. They can't guilt him, provoke him, or make him chase approval because he doesn't respond the way they expect. His calm unnerves them. When they yell, he stays composed. When they try to play the victim, he simply doesn't bite. This level of emotional awareness gives him control not just over himself, but over any situation he's in. You can't throw him off balance. He's too grounded. This detachment also allows him to make sharper decisions. While others let their emotions cloud judgment, the Sigma keeps his logic intact. He doesn't ignore his feelings, he filters them. He knows when to listen to intuition and when to trust reason. That's why he rarely regrets his choices, because every move he makes comes from alignment, not impulse. Yet beneath that stoic surface lies deep empathy. He understands human behavior on a level most people don't. He reads pain, insecurity, and motives instantly, but he doesn't always engage with them. He chooses where to invest his emotional energy wisely because he knows not everyone deserves access to his depth. This emotional detachment isn't isolation, it's evolution. The Sigma has simply mastered what most people can't, the ability to feel deeply without being consumed. And that's what makes him so rare. He's calm, but never careless, detached, but never disconnected, aware, but completely in control. They're hard to impress and even harder to influence. You can't sell illusions to a Sigma male. He's not impressed by flashy lifestyles, loud confidence, or hollow authority. What most people consider status symbols, money, titles, popularity, barely move the needle for him. He's seen too much of the world's performance to fall for appearances. What matters to him isn't what you have, but who you are when no one's watching. And that's why so few people truly earn his respect. A Sigma male operates from a place of internal validation. He doesn't measure himself by comparison, so external praise doesn't tempt him. You can't manipulate him with flattery or status because he doesn't crave recognition. He values authenticity, effort, and consistency, traits that can't be faked. When someone tries to impress him through dominance or charm, he quietly observes instead of reacting. He's studying intent, not presentation. This independence makes him immune to most forms of influence. The media, trends, and public opinions that steer others don't affect him much. He questions everything: motives, systems, authority, not out of rebellion but out of logic. He refuses to follow blindly or believe something just because it's popular. If it doesn't align with his own principles or evidence, he dismisses it without hesitation. That's why he's often misunderstood as stubborn or aloof, when, in reality, he's just free thinking. People who rely on persuasion or emotional leverage quickly realize they can't move him. He doesn't need approval, doesn't fear rejection, and doesn't seek belonging. The three pressure points that control most people: try to guilt him, Flatter him or intimidate him, and you'll get the same reaction: calm indifference. His resistance to influence makes him incredibly stable. While others get swept up in groupthink or trends, he stays grounded in his convictions. He moves through life with quiet confidence, following his own vision even when no one else sees it. And over time, that discipline pays off. Because while the crowd chases validation, the Sigma builds results. Being hard to impress doesn't mean he's negative or arrogant. It means he's selective. He values substance over show, truth over talk, and alignment over approval. That's why, when he finally respects someone, it means something. Because earning a Sigma male's respect isn't easy. It requires depth, authenticity, and integrity. And those qualities in his world are the real signs of power. They walk away without explaining. When a Sigma male decides to walk away, he doesn't announce it, justify it, or ask for understanding. He just leaves, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. By the time he's gone, he's already processed everything silently. He's observed the patterns, weighed the outcomes, and realized there's nothing left worth saving. Explaining himself would only reopen a door he's already closed in his mind. The Sigma male doesn't need validation for his decisions. He's learned that people who genuinely value you don't need long explanations, and those who don't won't understand anyway. So instead of wasting time convincing anyone of his reasons, he lets distance speak for him. His silence becomes his boundary. And that silence always says more than words ever could. This behavior confuses people who rely on emotional control. They expect arguments, closure, or at least a reaction. But the Sigma gives them nothing. He's not interested in proving a point or winning a conversation. When the respect fades or the energy shifts, he simply detaches. No warnings, no drama. Just quiet finality. That quiet exit is what unsettles others the most. People realize too late that they've lost someone who doesn't come back. The Sigma doesn't do second chances with the same person who showed him why he had to leave in the first place. Once his mind is made up, it's permanent. He's not punishing anyone. He's protecting himself. This approach comes from experience. The Sigma male has been through cycles of trying to explain his feelings to people who never listened, justify his boundaries to those who disrespected them, and prove his worth to those who never saw it. Eventually, he learned the ultimate lesson. Walking away is the explanation. When he goes silent, it's not to create mystery, it's to reclaim peace. He knows that closure doesn't come from being understood. It comes from choosing yourself. And that's why, when a Sigma male walks away, he never looks back, not out of pride, but because he's already found something better: self-respect. They're comfortable being misunderstood. The Sigma male doesn't waste time trying to make people understand him. He knows most never will. His mind works differently. His motives aren't driven by ego, and his silence makes people uncomfortable. Over the years, he's learned that being misunderstood is not a weakness. It's freedom. When people can't label or predict you, they can't control you. Most people crave validation. They want to be seen, liked, and accepted by everyone around them. But the Sigma learned early that chasing understanding usually means diluting who you really are. So he stopped, explaining himself to people who only listened to reply. He realized that peace is found not in being understood, but in being authentic, even if that authenticity isolates you. This acceptance gives him power. When others gossip, assume, or misjudge him, he doesn't flinch. He knows silence will reveal more truth than any defense ever could. While people talk, he works. While they try to figure him out, he evolves quietly. Their confusion becomes his camouflage. By the time they think they understand his next move, he's already 3 steps ahead. Being misunderstood also protects his energy. He doesn't need everyone to get him. He only needs a few who truly do. He values connection over crowds and depth over attention. When people misinterpret his distance as arrogance or his calm as apathy, he lets them, because trying to correct their perception would only drain his focus from what actually matters. The Sigma male's peace comes from knowing who he is, not from proving it. He's self-validated, which means opinions don't shape his direction. People can call him cold, arrogant, mysterious, or strange. None of it changes his path. He'd rather be misunderstood for being real than accepted for being fake. That's why the Sigma walks through life unbothered by judgment. He's not here to fit in. He's here to grow, to observe, and to create on his own terms. And that quiet confidence, the ability to keep walking when no one understands your purpose, is exactly what makes him unstoppable. The Sigma male doesn't need applause, validation, or understanding. His power comes from within. He moves through life on his own wavelength, guided by awareness instead of approval. While others chase recognition, he builds mastery. While they seek acceptance, he finds peace in solitude. His silence, his detachment, his self-control, they're not weaknesses, they're weapons. People may call him cold, distant, or mysterious, but what they're really seeing is a man who no longer depends on the world to define him. He's built his own standard, and he lives by it. Quietly, relentlessly, and without compromise. That's why Sigma males always stand out. Not because they try to, but because authenticity naturally separates them from the noise. If you see yourself in this mindset, calm, focused, and unshaken by what others think, you're already walking the Sigma path. Keep mastering your silence, sharpening your awareness, and protecting your energy, because the moment you stop explaining yourself and start trusting your inner direction, that's when you truly become unstoppable. If this video spoke to you, subscribe to UltraWise, like this video, and comment "Power in Silence." Because real strength doesn't shout, it moves in silence and lets results speak for it.